Listen up, because what I'm about to tell you could change how you see one of the most anticipated international prospects in baseball today. We're talking about none other than Roki Sasaki, a young phenom who burst onto the global scene throwing absolute fireballs out of Japan and got scooped up by the Los Angeles Dodgers with the kind of hype you'd expect for a generational talent. But now, headlines are swirling, fans are buzzing, and the big question is being asked: is Roki Sasaki already in trouble? The 23-year-old rookie, once hailed as the next great hope of MLB pitching, is now on the injured list with a right shoulder impingement, and it's raising all kinds of questions about his durability, the pace at which the Dodgers have been pushing him, and whether or not this could derail the momentum of his debut season in the majors. But before you jump to conclusions, let's take a step back and really unpack what's going on here. Because this isn't just about a sore arm or a couple of shaky outings. This is about the pressure that comes with massive expectations, the brutal demands of the MLB grind, and the challenge of transitioning from dominance in Japan to survival in the big leagues. Roki Sasaki isn't just any pitcher. This is the guy who, in Japan's Nippon Professional Baseball League, routinely hit 100 miles per hour on the radar gun and once threw a perfect game with 19 strikeouts. He's been compared to the likes of Shohei Ohtani and Yu Darvish, not just for his raw velocity but for the poise and precision he brought to every outing with the Chiba Lotta Marines. When the Dodgers landed him, the buzz was electric. They weren't just getting a hard thrower, they were investing in what many called the future face of pitching, a potential ace who could reshape their rotation for years. And for a team like LA, that's saying something. But fast forward to now, and things aren't looking as smooth. After just 8 starts, Sasaki holds a 1-1 record and a 4.72 ERA. While those aren't the worst numbers in the world for a rookie adjusting to the majors, what's more concerning is the dip in his fastball velocity, the noticeable issues with command, and now, the lingering shoulder discomfort that has sidelined him indefinitely. So what exactly happened? According to Sasaki himself, through an interpreter, this isn't the first time he's dealt with shoulder problems. In fact, he described it as similar to last year, when shoulder fatigue limited him to just 18 starts and 111 innings in Japan. That's a red flag right there. It tells us that the shoulder isn't a brand new issue, and when a pitcher that young is already repeating the phrase "something I've had before," it makes you wonder if this is the beginning of a pattern or just a minor bump in the road. Sasaki was quick to clarify that the pain isn't as bad as last time, it's more of a discomfort, a sense that his shoulder just isn't moving the way he wants it to. But let's be honest, in the world of elite pitching, just not moving right can be the difference between dominance and disaster. Especially when you're expected to go out there and perform under the bright lights of Major League Baseball. The injury came to a head after his most recent start against the Arizona Diamondbacks, where he pitched on 5 days rest, his first time doing that in the majors. The result? 4 innings, 5 runs allowed, 61 pitches, and a visibly off Sasaki who just couldn't find his rhythm. Initially, it seemed like a one-off bad start, but the truth came out later. Sasaki had been feeling discomfort since the outing before that. That's 2 consecutive starts where he wasn't at 100%, and yet, he didn't speak up right away. Why? Because in his own words, he wanted to really help the team in any way, shape, and form. Now let's pause on that. That quote right there tells you everything about who Roki Sasaki is as a competitor. He didn't want to let his teammates down. He saw the Dodgers' current injury woes with several pitchers already sidelined and decided to grit it out. That kind of heart is commendable, but it also reflects a dangerous tendency among young players, especially those new to the American game. They push through pain, try to live up to the hype, and end up risking their long-term health in the process. And make no mistake, Sasaki is facing a major culture shift. In Japan, pitcher usage is handled differently. There's more rest, more regimented schedules, and a strong emphasis on recovery. In MLB, especially with a powerhouse like the Dodgers, the pace is relentless. The travel is brutal. The expectation to perform every 5th day is non-negotiable. That kind of change can wreak havoc on a young arm, no matter how talented the pitcher is. What's also concerning is the drop in his velocity. When Sasaki made his debut in Tokyo against the Chicago Cubs, he was lighting up the radar gun at 99 miles per hour in the first inning. That's the Sasaki everyone expected to see, the flamethrower from Japan. But since then, his velocity has dipped into the mid-90s, and with it, his command has started to wobble. That's not just a sign of fatigue, that's a mechanical issue, a confidence issue, and possibly a physical issue all rolled into one. Sasaki himself admitted it's hard to tell whether the shoulder is directly to blame, but you don't need to be a pitching coach to know that a drop in velocity often points to something not being right under the hood. The Dodgers are now in a tricky spot. On one hand, they've invested in Sasaki for the long haul. They know his upside is massive, and they don't want to risk burning him out early. On the other hand, they're in the thick of a competitive season, and their rotation is already paper thin. That creates a kind of silent pressure, one where the team might say take your time, but everyone knows the clock is ticking. So what happens now? For starters, Sasaki has been shut down from throwing completely. There's no timeline for his return yet, which is both cautious and concerning. On the one hand, it's good that the Dodgers aren't rushing him back. On the other, it means they don't yet fully understand what's wrong, and that opens the door to speculation. Is this just a minor impingement that'll go away with rest? Or is it something structural that might require more invasive treatment? We don't know, and that uncertainty is what's got fans on edge. The good news is that Sasaki is using this downtime wisely. He says he plans to focus on the fundamentals, working on his command, his mechanics, and understanding what went wrong in his first 8 starts. That kind of self-awareness is critical. Too many young pitchers try to power through without analyzing the root cause of their struggles. Sasaki isn't just a flamethrower, he's a student of the game. And that's what gives hope that he can bounce back stronger. But let's not sugarcoat it, this is a pivotal moment in Roki Sasaki's young MLB career. The narrative could go one of two ways. One path is the redemption arc, where he takes time off, heals up, returns with renewed velocity and sharper command, and reclaims his spot as one of baseball's most electrifying young arms. The other path? A slow fade, marked by recurring injuries, cautious innings limits, and a career that never quite matches the hype. It's too early to say which one it'll be, but right now, everything hangs in the balance. For Dodgers fans, this is also a moment of reflection. The franchise is known for being one of the smartest, most forward-thinking organizations in baseball. They're no strangers to handling young pitchers with care. Just look at how they've managed talents like Walker Buehler and Julio Urias over the years. But even they aren't immune to missteps. If Sasaki's injury worsens or lingers, questions will start swirling about whether he was thrown into the fire too quickly, whether his training and recovery were properly adjusted for the MLB grind, and whether this could have been avoided. So what can we learn from all this? First, that the transition from international superstar to MLB regular is no walk in the park. Roki Sasaki came into the league with sky-high expectations, but the reality of Major League Baseball is unforgiving. Second, that injuries, especially for pitchers, are never simple. One day you're hitting 99 on the gun, the next you're shut down indefinitely. And third, that mental toughness, adaptability, and patience are just as important as raw talent. Sasaki's journey is far from over. If anything, this might be the adversity he needs to refine his game, grow as a professional, and return even better. So here's the takeaway for every fan watching: don't count him out. Yes, this setback is serious. Yes, it's disappointing. But this is also the crucible that could forge a more resilient, more complete pitcher. Roki Sasaki has the talent, now we'll see if he has the grit. And you can bet we'll be watching every step of the way. If you're as invested in his journey as we are, make sure to stay locked in right here. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Sasaki will bounce back? What's your take on how the Dodgers are handling the situation? We want to hear from you. Because in the world of baseball, every pitch tells a story, and Roki Sasaki's is just getting started. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and we'll see you in the next update.